Greetings Helldivers! Welcome to another Loadout video. Today we are focusing on the Squid front. Now the Illuminate front is an interesting thing because in my mind it kinda combines the features from both the Terminate front and the Automaton front. So the loadouts that I was talking about in the previous videos are perfectly applicable on the Squid front as well. Now we can divide the Illuminate front into two categories. The first one is where you get the missions where you fight mostly the Voteless and the Overseers. And honestly, you cannot go wrong with any loadout with these types of missions. However, things change a bit when the Appropriators enter the scene. And that's exactly what we are going to focus upon today. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first loadout will be based around the Hazmaster medium armor that basically makes you immune to gas. The primary weapon for this build will be Arc Blitzer. Unlimited ammo, a lot of damage, great to keep Voteless and Overseers under control. Ultimatum will be our secondary weapon for this loadout. Great against the alien ships, Appropriators, Harvesters, and Flash mobs. When you are fighting in the Illuminate ruins, you cannot have too much anti-tank options on you, so Thermite will be of great use as well, because you will get constantly overwhelmed by the Appropriators and the Harvesters. So you need to deal with them quickly, and Thermite in pair with Ultimatum will allow you to do that just fine. The first stratagem that we are taking with us will be Orbital Gas Strike. Since we are basically immune to gas, you can call this thing right upon yourself when you get overrun by enemies and instantly solve this problem. It has unlimited use and an insanely low cooldown, which makes it extremely effective on the Illuminate front. To make things even worse for your enemies, the second stratagem that we pick will be Eagle Strafing Run. I am kinda late to the party with the Eagle Strafing Run because I only recently discovered how great of a stratagem this is. So if you were sleeping on it, it's time to change that. Quite frequently, the squids really like to get close to you, especially flash mobs and the overseers. For this exact reason, the third stratagem that we pick will be a Breaching Hammer. Not only it is super effective, it is also extremely fun. Finally, it is always nice to have some additional fire support from range. Therefore, the final stratagem for this loadout will be a Rocket Sentry. A booster pick for this loadout will be Hellpod Space Optimization. And there you have it, our first build for today. I am a huge fan of turning myself into a pyromaniac. That's why our second build will be based around the Heatseeker light armor, which gives you 75% damage resistance to fire, preserving your ability to move fast. My favorite primary option for my pyromaniac builds is Double-Edged Sickle. You lay down, you press fire button, and you just keep firing endlessly, shredding absolutely everything on your way. Just don't forget to steam yourself before you die. A Loyalist is a great secondary to quickly deal with small to medium groups of enemies and other minor annoying obstacles on the Illuminate front. One of my favorite activities on the Squid front is to stick a lure mine to a wall and watch the enemies gather around it like moth around the flame, which allows you to deal with them in any way that you deem appropriate. It is also a surprisingly good way to lose some following. However, use it with caution when your enemies are close to you, because it will go off instantly and you might blow up yourself in the process. No pyromaniac build is complete without an orbital napalm barrage, so that's exactly the first stratagem that we are picking. The next one is a great pair for your lure mines. You throw a lure mine, you attract a lot of enemies, and then you throw Eagle Napalm Airstrike upon their heads. Our primary option against the bigger enemies that you can encounter on the Illuminate front will be the Cremator Flamethrower. Enjoy it while you can, folks, because Arrowhead can see that we are having a bit too much fun with it right now, so I believe the nerf is upon us, but right now it is still one of the best weapons against the heavy armored enemies. To complete our pyromaniac build, the last stratagem that we are taking with us are the incendiary mines. Because why not? For this build, I would suggest the experimental infusion booster. And this is our second loadout for today. Now usually the last loadout that I show you in my videos is something that is a bit out there, and that will be exactly the case today as well. Sometimes you just want to increase the synergy with your teammates, and becoming a perfect support player is the way to do it. Therefore, for this build, we attempt the role of a medic, building everything around the Bone Snapper medium medkit armor. Being a support player doesn't mean that you have to be weak. Therefore, our primary pick for this loadout is the Eruptor. However, our true primary weapon for this loadout will be the stim pistol, because our primary task with this loadout is to keep our teammates alive. Our throwable has to serve that same purpose as well, and the bubble shield is a perfect option to do that. It provides some additional protection when you are completing the objectives and messing with the terminals. When you are going for a support role, the main stratagem that you can pick is the supply pack. This way you can always keep yourself and your teammates stacked on ammunition and steams. We still need a proper anti-tank option, therefore the Quasar Cannon is our next pick. I also love to provide my teammates with some additional fire support, so for this task I would suggest the Emancipator Exosuit. Finally, we need some ultimate crowd clearing device, and for me that has always been the Leveler. It has a low cooldown and you can basically spam it. Also, the Leveler and the Emancipator Exosuit are a great pair to complete the main objective in the Illuminate ruins. You just go into their temple, you deal with the majority of enemies and the batteries with your mech, and then just finish it off with the Leveler. Extremely effective. Now, the booster match for this loadout is pretty wide. You can go with the classic stuff. However, if you want to be a bit original, I would suggest the Armed Resupply Pods booster. And this wraps it up for our last loadout for today. So there you have it, folks. You guys seem to really enjoy my loadout videos, and for that I thank you so much. Please let me know what you think on my Illuminate picks and share your favorite options as well. Thank you for watching this far. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.